The movie Venom begins with a thrilling and mysterious sequence as a satellite, launched from a space station, crashes to Earth. The satellite carries with it a strange and dangerous organism, a symbiote. After the crash, one of the astronauts survives, but it's soon revealed that the organism, which is not from Earth, has bonded with him. This symbiote takes control of his body and begins wreaking havoc. The symbiote escapes from the astronaut's body and attacks a group of scientists, eventually infecting a young woman, initiating the chaos that will spread across the world. Eddie Brock, a disgraced journalist. Enter Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, an investigative journalist known for his fearlessness in exposing corruption. Eddie is introduced as a man whose career has fallen into disarray. He was once an ambitious journalist, but after a disastrous encounter with a billionaire scientist named Carlton Drake, Eddie's life falls apart. Drake is the head of a cutting-edge biomedical company, Life Foundation, which conducts controversial and morally questionable scientific experiments. At the beginning of the movie, Eddie lives with his girlfriend, Anne Wying, played by Michelle Williams. They have a comfortable life together, and Eddie is planning a date night. Their relationship, however, becomes strained due to Eddie's obsession with exposing the truth about corrupt figures. Eddie is determined to take down Drake, believing that the billionaire is hiding a dark secret. As he digs deeper into Drake's company and the unethical research being conducted there, Eddie finds himself in over his head. One day, Eddie gets a tip from an anonymous source, and it leads him to an exclusive interview with Dr. Carlton Drake. At the meeting, Eddie confronts Drake about his illegal genetic research, which involves experimenting with alien organisms. He accuses Drake of being responsible for the deaths of 3 innocent people who were subjected to dangerous experiments with these alien samples. Eddie's accusations are too much for Drake to handle, and as a result, Eddie is unceremoniously thrown out of the meeting. The fall from grace. Eddie's expose on Drake, which he planned to air, is rejected by his boss at the news station. The story is pulled, and Eddie is publicly humiliated. His career is destroyed. His reputation as a journalist is shattered, and his boss fires him for being reckless with unverified information. But Eddie doesn't give up. He believes that Drake is hiding something far more sinister, so he continues to investigate, even though this alienated him from everyone around him. The fallout from Eddie's expose also leads to personal consequences. Anne, Eddie's girlfriend who works as a lawyer, is also caught in the crossfire. She loses her job because of the scandal surrounding Eddie, and her relationship with him deteriorates. In a heartbreaking scene, Anne returns Eddie's engagement ring and ends their relationship. Eddie is left alone, heartbroken, and at a crossroads in his life. Drake's dark secrets. Months pass, and Eddie is struggling to rebuild his life. He's a broken man, drinking away his sorrows in bars and searching for new job opportunities that never seem to materialize. He starts to give up on everything, but his obsession with Carlton Drake and his dark secrets never fades. One day, Eddie comes across an email on Anne's computer regarding a lawsuit filed against Drake for the deaths of 3 people in a genetic experiment. This discovery reignites Eddie's determination to uncover the truth. Eddie learns that Drake's Life Foundation is conducting illegal and unethical experiments involving alien symbiotes, parasitic organisms that can bond with human hosts. These symbiotes are dangerous and powerful, and they have been tested on humans with disastrous results. Eddie continues to investigate Drake's operations, putting himself in even greater danger. He tracks down a former employee of Drake's, Dora Skirth, played by Jenny Slate, who works at Life Foundation as a scientist. Dora's revelation. Dora confides in Eddie, revealing the horrifying truth about what Drake is doing. The Life Foundation has been capturing homeless people and testing symbiotes on them with the goal of creating superhuman soldiers. Dora explains that the symbiotes are alien organisms, which can bond with human hosts, giving them extraordinary powers. She warns Eddie that the experiments are not only unethical, but are also putting innocent lives at risk. Dora is too scared to act on her own, but wants Eddie to expose Drake's crimes. At this point, Eddie is even more driven to stop Drake. He decides to infiltrate the Life Foundation's lab to gather evidence and expose the company's dark practices. In his attempt to gather proof, Eddie stumbles upon one of the most horrifying scenes in the film. He discovers that Drake is experimenting on a woman named Maria, who has been kidnapped and is being used as a test subject for the symbiotes. Eddie tries to free her, but in the process, something goes horribly wrong. The symbiotes bond with Eddie. During the chaos, Eddie accidentally comes into contact with one of the symbiotes. This symbiote, which calls itself Venom, fuses with Eddie's body, and Eddie soon learns that he has gained extraordinary powers. He gains superhuman strength, agility, and other enhanced abilities. The transformation is overwhelming for Eddie, and he struggles to control the symbiote, which constantly speaks to him inside his mind. The symbiote, Venom, has its own personality and desires, and it pushes Eddie to use his new abilities for their mutual survival. The bond between Eddie and Venom is complex and uneasy. While Venom gives Eddie incredible powers, it also makes him an unpredictable and dangerous force. Eddie has to come to terms with the alien presence inside his body while dealing with the consequences of his actions. He is constantly haunted by the voice of Venom in his head, and the two often argue about what to do next. The chase and Drake's pursuit. As Eddie tries to make sense of what has happened to him, he is pursued by Drake's forces. The Life Foundation is aware of Eddie's break-in, and they know that he has been infected by one of the symbiotes. They send mercenaries and drones after Eddie to capture him and retrieve the symbiote. During this time, Eddie begins to experience strange and terrifying changes, both physical and mental. He loses control of his emotions, and his behavior becomes erratic. The symbiote also begins to take control of Eddie's body in moments of stress or danger, and Eddie must find a way to maintain control. Meanwhile, Drake has developed a new, more powerful symbiote, Riot, which is more dangerous and violent than Venom. Riot is a leader of the symbiote species, and it has been bonded with a human host, which makes it an even more formidable enemy. Drake plans to use Riot to lead an invasion of Earth, bringing more symbiotes to the planet to take over humanity. Confronting the villain and final showdown. As Eddie continues to grapple with his symbiote powers, he realizes that he must stop Drake and prevent Riot from launching the alien invasion. Eddie's ex-girlfriend Anne and her new partner Dan, played by Reed Scott, become involved in the situation, and Eddie tries to use them to help gather evidence and expose Drake's plans. Anne, despite their broken relationship, still cares for Eddie and tries to help him, even though she is horrified by the changes in him. The final showdown takes place at the Life Foundation's facility, where Eddie confronts Drake and Riot. The battle between Venom and Riot is intense and chaotic, with Eddie and Venom struggling to defeat Riot's superior power. At one point, Venom is absorbed by Riot, and Eddie is left vulnerable. However, Anne arrives and helps Eddie by distracting Riot and allowing Venom to break free and reunite with Eddie. With the symbiote's help, Eddie manages to destroy the facility, stop the launch of the alien invasion, and defeat Riot once and for all. As the movie ends, Eddie and Anne begin to repair their relationship, and Eddie learns to control Venom, setting some boundaries to prevent the symbiote from causing too much destruction. They go to a store to buy food for Venom, and at the same time, the thief from earlier in the movie returns. Eddie and Venom, together, give the thief the punishment he deserves, providing a fitting conclusion to their first adventure. If you like recap movies, please subscribe Recap Q for more interesting videos. The Aftermath and Eddie's New Life. In the aftermath of the battle, Eddie and Venom come to an understanding. Venom explains that he needs Eddie as his host to survive on Earth, and that he has grown fond of the planet. Eddie, though reluctant, realizes that he has to live with the symbiote if he wants to stay alive. The two form an uneasy but mutually beneficial partnership, with Eddie agreeing to work with Venom under certain conditions. Eddie, now a changed man, decides not to return to his old life as a journalist. Instead, he takes on a new role as an investigative reporter, this time focusing on a criminal named Cletus Kasady, played by Woody Harrelson, who is threatening to kill everyone in his path. This sets the stage for future conflicts as Eddie and Venom prepare to face new threats together.